public to know what's going on. But specifically, look, we are three black men, and I would say the essence of our conversation is how it affects black people. And I said this before, and you know, I hate to be redundant with it, but I'll say it again. Black people have to understand that politics is socioeconomic Darwinism. It is survival of the fittest. You have to understand that. And voting is a quid pro quo. It's something for something. So if a person that you're voting for is not going to do anything to benefit your group, then there is no need to support them. And it doesn't mean if that person looks like you. I don't care if they're black, yellow, white, brown, purple, turquoise, whatever, pick your color. If they're not doing anything to help you and your group specifically, then there is no reason to support them. I think black people need to mature politically. I'm not going to use ad hominems. I'm not going to use bad words to describe us, but we certainly need to mature politically and understand that this is in fact a competition. Everyone is not your friend. So you have to look into, not add into, the policies that are being purported, that are in place. And we have to look at ourselves. We have to look in the mirror. If the Democratic policies for the past, 67, 70 years or so, if they have left us in this state, I am not telling black folks to be all of a sudden loyal to Republicans, because they'll automatically say, well, you must be a Republican. No, what I am telling you to do is this. Use them the way that they use you. I don't want you to be loyal to a politician's words. I want you to be loyal to what they're going to do, what is in their political interests. That will never steer you wrong. So we have to grow up and start looking at policy for us, not for groups that are coming in here and we think that they need an upper hand, because they're not going to do it for us. You best believe they're not going to do it for us. The biggest fool carries the heaviest load, and black folks are forever the last ones to get it and see what happens after they done robbed the whole everything. And we're like, oh man, I wish I would have known. So let's start getting serious, black folks.
And I just want to add to that, I guess, build on that just a little bit, because I don't want people to take these words and just say, oh, well, what if neither side is doing anything for our group? Then should I just not vote? No. What I would suggest is that you look at the policies. First step I would say is, I don't believe that black people should be Democrat or Republican. I believe that you should approach your politics with a completely independent mind. Now, if you are a registered Democrat, I would say, like for me, I was a registered Democrat. And why was I a registered Democrat? Well, I'm actually still a registered Democrat. And the reason why was because I wanted to be involved in the primary process after what I saw in Bernie Sanders. So for me, I was like, okay, well, I want to do my part to impact change the best that I can. But when I saw how many times they rigged their elections, for me, it was like, I can't do this anymore. You know, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result, that's insanity. So the first step I would say is that black people should detach themselves from the Democrat Party and the Republican Party. The second step I would say is vote your interest, because guess what? More times than not, your specific interest will align with your group. And I think because we sometimes dumb down our politics to a tribal perspective, and I don't think it's a dumb thing when you're on code, but I think with the way that black people today in this country have handled our politics to date, it has been with a great deal of ignorance. And so what I would suggest moving forward is look at the policies, look at their record. Don't look at the things that they say to you. Look at their actions.
Tony, can I ask you something?
Go ahead.
And this is not really for you. It's a question for our viewers. What is our code? What is our policy as black people? What is our policy and what is our code? So for people to comprehend this, I don't think if you go to the average black person, they may know.
Right. We need We've been talking about this for years, that black people need to establish a code of conduct. Like there must be some code of conduct. At this point, I don't even care what it is right now. we have to go ahead. Because so many other groups thrive in our division and our disarray. Like we have to have some sort of a code. But go ahead, Craig.
But I think to answer your point, Kay, I think this is where Ice Cube was when he came up with a contract with Black America. He tried to bring us to a common ground and say, well, listen, as a collective, what do we want? What do we want out of our politicians? And it's so disappointing that he was treated the way he was when he was making the most logical sense. He was actually saying, what are our needs and what are our wants, and who can bring that, who can deliver this to us? And some of the people that we thought, well, that I thought would be the first in line to support the brother were the ones to saying that now is not the time. Like I think what he's doing is great, but now is not the time. Now is not the time. We if not now, when? Right. And this is the sad part about the Kamala Harris nomination. And a part of me, I'm a little happy for people that watching their their excitement behind her being the first, I guess, Black. I mean, we can get into that conversation, but supposedly so-called Black female president. But the sad part is that I feel like we are throwing this tremendous amount of financial and just moral support behind a candidate without even asking for one concession. We have not made one demand.
Say that again. Say that again one more time for them.
We have not asked for one, not even one concession. We haven't even said, listen, Kamala, we're really excited about you. You know, we want to get behind you, but listen, I mean,
y'all already gave her like about $40 million.
Yeah, we're going through some things here in the Black community specifically, and you've had some statements in the past that said that you wouldn't do anything specifically for Black people. Do you still feel this way? Because we want to get behind you, but we need to know that you're going to have once you get into office, you're not going to forget about us. Like, what is wrong with simply having that stance or approaching politics in that simplistic way? For me, that's simplistic. For other people, it's more important that we simply get a so-called Black woman or a Black face in that high position.
Well, that goes back to what I said, Craig.
Yeah.
There is, and I'm sorry, I apologize. You would
no, go ahead, brother. I was finished.
There is no policy. That's the problem. If you look historically, Black people have been united and unified amongst a lot of goals, and that's a problem. I'll give you an example. During the 60s civil rights era, the goal at that time was, all right, the Voting Rights Act. We need to be able to get that done. All right, so now after you're allowed to vote, okay, now what? I don't say that to like make fun of them,
right?
You know, but okay, and that's what Malcolm was saying, is that no, this is bigger than a Voting Rights Act, and then King later realized that. So if you look for us as Black people, the policy, so as it pertains to Black people, has essentially been two policies, only in this country. Originally, it was slavery, and then the next policy is keeping us as a permanent underclass, incrimination, and things like that. So no matter who you slide in, no matter who is at the head of it, you can always they get killed, that person dies. You can always put somebody else in, but the policies remain the same. So if Black people, like you said, Tone, get a code, and we start saying, hey, we're all on board with this code, what we want, then we have specific policies, not goals, that we want for ourselves. And I know people say, well, what does that mean? If it doesn't benefit you economically, if it doesn't ensure your safety, it doesn't ensure you and your ability to move forward vertically, not horizontally, because we've had a lot of horizontal movement, okay, then you don't want it. If, as far as I'm concerned, in this country, if it's not economic,
right,
I don't want it. What did Claude Anderson say? If you can't deposit it in the bank or cash it, you don't want it. It's pointless. It's a complete waste of time. And what I see now, when I logged on and looked at my email to get the link to you, I have about 24 emails reading Kamala, this,
Bro.
Kamala that, just flooded.
Bro, listen, I don't know about y'all, but my cell phone, I have been getting texts like
All the time.
crazy over the last few
Nonstop.
days. Kamala,
Nonstop.
hey, Kamala's beating Trump. Like, do you act blue? No, I keep texting stop, and they keep coming like from new numbers.